Live from Shea Stadium in Flushing, New York, this is New York Mets baseball. Tonight, the Mets take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Participating advertisers are Michelob Light, an exceptional light beer with a rich, smooth taste. Manufacturers Hanover, the financial source worldwide. Datsun Nissan, builders of high-quality cars and trucks for 50 years. Available at your Datsun dealer. Garcia Vega, its natural leaf wrapper gives you rich tobacco taste. Garcia Vega, still an honest cigar. And your tri-state Lincoln Mercury dealer. We're on a roll. Pitching for the Dodgers tonight, Fernando Valenzuela, 10-14 with a 3.06 ERA. And going for the New York Mets, it is Dwight Gooden, 12-8 with an ERA of 3.02.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, along with Tim McCarver and Steve Zabriski, and the Mets against the Dodgers. And nothing could be said more than Valenzuela against Gooden, the 1-2 strikeout artist in the National League.
Fernando Valenzuela has 191 strikeouts. Dwight Gooden leads the league with 202 strikeouts. And what a matchup this is. People have waited for a long time. They had this matchup earlier in the year back on May 11th. Dwight Gooden bested Fernando Valenzuela 2-0. And then he beat the Dodgers again 2-1 here. The only run scored by the Dodgers against Dwight Gooden was on a home run by Pedro Guerrero. Interestingly, his first home run given up this year.
And Dwight Gooden could become the first teenage rookie pitcher to lead the National League or the American League in strikeouts. So he's on his way to that quest, and it should all unfold here in a way tonight on a very beautiful night for baseball. It's warm, perfect pitching weather, and it's going to be tough on the hitters tonight with all that stuff on the mound.
Yeah, it really will. High fastballs from Dwight Gooden and that nasty yacker he throws. And then, of course, Fernando Valenzuela. When you give signs for Fernando, you have to put down both signs, both hands, that is, because he's got about 7 pitches, several variations on that screwball, a good fastball that keeps you honest, and a nasty breaking ball. So I wouldn't expect too much hitting tonight.
Well, the Cubs aren't playing today, so the Mets, if they win, can pick up a half game on the Cubs and be 5 games back. So the Mets in their battle with the Cubs, and they're just a few percentage points ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies. So let's go down in the field now and check out the action. Well, the action out in the bullpen as Valenzuela takes his warm-up pitches. He has a record of no wins and 2 losses against the Mets this year. He has a lifetime record of 4-3 against the Mets. And Valenzuela was the man who set the National League and baseball on fire back in 1981 when he came in to pitch 8 shutouts. The only rookie really to ever pitch 8 shutouts in his first major league year. A fellow named Reb Russell did that, except that one of his shutouts was not a complete game, which would not qualify him for 8. So it's the Mets against the Dodgers, a 3-game series. Tomorrow night it'll be Terrell on the mound against Honeycutt. Then on Wednesday, Ron Darling against Phenia. Darling with a record of 11-5. The same winning record as Dwight Gooden until Gooden picked up his 12th win the last time out. Gooden has won 3 straight. And he comes into this ball game with an earned run average of 0.72 over his last 3 ball games, less than 1 run a game. The Dodgers have a record of 63-67, 4 games under 500. They're 13.5 games back in 4th place. San Diego leading by 10.5. And the Mets have a record of 70-58. They're 5.5 games back of the Cubs in 2nd place.
There aren't too many pitchers in baseball that pack them in, and Dwight Gooden and Fernando Valenzuela are certainly 2 of the guys. We'll see some K's tonight. Now here's Glenn Close, star of the Broadway show The Real Thing, to sing the national anthem.
With our national anthem, a resident of Greenwich, Connecticut, and the star co-star in The Natural, along with Robert Redford.
And she was quite natural in singing that national anthem. She's a pro.
So we're all set to get underway here at Shea Stadium. The umpire's coming out to accept the lineup cards from both the Dodgers and the Mets. They'll go over the grounds rules, although that's not really much of a ritual this time of year. It'll be Doug Harvey behind home plate, Jerry Crawford at first base, Joe West the umpire at second base, and Frank Pulley the umpire at third.
Never really thought about that. I think that's an interesting point. Here we are in August, and if they don't know the ground rules by now, one more month is certainly not going to embed it in their minds that much more.
You know, Tim, you told me a very interesting story while we got a second here, and I think it's well worth repeating about Pedro Guerrero. You know, the Dodgers have had a lot of problems defensively. They tried to play Guerrero at third base. He's now back out in the outfield. He had troubles at third base, and they had a meeting between Tom Lasorda and Pedro Guerrero. I think it's one of the classics.
Oh, I do too. Tommy Lasorda said, Pedro, of course, every infielder is supposed to anticipate every ball that's hit toward them. And Tommy said, now, Pedro, I realize that you're new to the position of third base. Now, exactly what are you thinking about before the pitch is made and when the ball makes contact with the bat? And Pedro said 2 things. He said, number 1, I'm hoping the ball doesn't get hit to me. Number 2, I hope the ball doesn't get hit to Steve Sachs. And they said the clubhouse just fell apart. Guys were rolling on the floor because it was naturally a very intense situation, a tense atmosphere, and something like that, it goes on all the time. You know, the stories like that go on all the time, and to relieve the atmosphere like that that's very tense with a little humor, I think's great.
And Tom Lasorda there talking to someone in the Dodger box seat area. Tom Lasorda not a bit happy about what took place in yesterday's ball game in Philadelphia.
Boy, I should say not. 8-2 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Phillies roared back to score 8 runs. As Tom Lasorda is shaking hands with Mayor Ed Koch, the Honorable Mayor, sitting next to Fred Wilpon, the president of the New York Mets. Fred and Tommy, of course, very close friends.
And now the New York Mets take the field. Very little breeze here tonight. It's a warm, humid night. Actually, just about a perfect night for baseball. Not too hot, but hot enough. Don't like those evenings that are too cool. And defensively for the Mets, it's Hernandez, Chapman, Backman, and Brooks in the infield. Foster, Wilson, Strawberry in the outfield. Fitzgerald doing the catching. And Dwight Gooden on the mound for the Mets. Gooden with a record of 12-8. 2-0 against the Dodgers. He has an earned run average of 3.02 for the year. And he leads the National League in strikeouts. He has 202 strikeouts. And he has worked 167 innings so far this year. He's averaged well over 10 strikeouts an inning. 10 strikeouts a 9-inning game.
He has had 10 games that he's struck out 10 or more. And he'll be facing the Dodgers' Dave Anderson, the shortstop, leading off. Kenny Landreau, the center fielder, batting second. Pedro Guerrero in right field, not at third base. He'll bat third. Mike Marshall, the left fielder, batting fourth. Greg Brock will be at first base and bat fifth. Mike Scioscia, the fine catcher from Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, will bat sixth. Steve Sachs playing second base and batting seventh. Herman Rivera will be the third baseman, batting eighth. And Fernando Valenzuela, who is an outstanding hitting pitcher. Both of these pitchers' combined age is 2 years younger than Phil Niekro. They're 43 combined. Niekro was 16 wins as a member of the Yankees, 45 years old. Both field their positions exceptionally well, and both swing the bat very well.
And we'd like to remind you this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and WOR-TV, and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audiences. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and WOR-TV is prohibited. And it's Dave Anderson stepping into the batter's box, hitting .253, 2 home runs, 25 runs batted in. Anderson has been on base 25 times in his last 14 ball games. And the fastball is called a ball by Doug Harvey.
Over that period, he has 13 hits, 8 walks. He's been hit by the pitcher a couple of times. He's done a good job leading off for the Dodgers.
2 balls, no strikes. Anderson hitting .353 against Met pitching this year, 6 for 17. One of his hits, surprisingly, a home run. has only 2 home runs all season long. 2-0 pitch, a strike call.
And he has been around. He's from Richmond, Texas. Went to school at St. Pete High School, or at Gibbs High School in St. Petersburg, and went to college at Memphis State University, where he starred in baseball.
And a real good fastball, strike 2.
That's the pitch the Dodger hitters will try to lay off of, that high rider, and that's exactly what it does. Starts around the letters, and when they swing at it, quite elusive. That's an understatement.
And it just does miss, and the count goes to 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3. First strikeout for Dwight Gooden.
This is more like an 0-2 or 1-2 pitch, right on the outside corner. And you can see by the swing of Dave Anderson that it's unethical to be able to throw that hard with that kind of placement.
Gooden has averaged 10.89 strikeouts per 9 innings. An amazing strikeout ratio. Now the batter will be Ken Landreau, and there's strike 1. Landreau hitting .248. He has 8 home runs, 36 RBIs. Foul back. Gooden is 3rd in the National League. Strikeouts per walk ratio at 3.26. Candelaria and Hershiser, the only 2 with a better strikeout walk ratio. And the breaking ball. First curveball thrown by Gooden. Another curveball, it's top foul. In hits per 9 innings, Gooden has given up 7.11 as you look at the comparison in strikeouts. Gooden to Valenzuela to Ryan to Soto to Carlton. Ryan, incidentally, has tied Steve Carlton for the all-time high in strikeouts. And time is called. Doug Harvey indicating that there's something back into the stands that's bothering him. Either him or someone else on the field.
Might be a light in the stands. Keith Hernandez could have complained to first base umpire Jerry Crawford about it.
2-1 the count. Could say 1-2 the count, and this ball popped up in foul territory. Hubie Brooks back, and he made the catch. And 2 men away.
Well, Hubie goes after this ball awkwardly because he's got the tarp, the fence, and the ball to worry about. He's there at the tarp, and he covers the glove with the ball, or the ball with the glove right near the covering.
He might have got a call of interference if he had dropped that ball. That fan was really in his way. That brings up Pedro Guerrero. Guerrero hitting .285. He has 11 home runs, only 46 RBIs. And the fastball fouled off.
It would be unusual for a Dodger fan to be in this ballpark because the Dodgers left Brooklyn back in 1957, and the sentiments were certainly not cheerful when they did so. A lot of people here in the New York area have never forgotten it.
And there's a ball, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Last year, Guerrero drove in 103 runs. This year, he has only 46. Boy, what a drop-off.
Dodgers second from the bottom in the National League in hitting with a .243 average.
And a drive to center field. Mookie Wilson back and under the ball. He makes the catch, and that retires the side. The Dodgers go on order, and the score at the end of 1/2 inning. The Dodgers nothing, the Mets coming up. To the bottom of the 1st inning, the Dodgers did not score in their half, and for the Dodgers, it'll be Brock, Sachs, Anderson, and Rivera in the infield. Marshall, Landreau, and Guerrero in the outfield. Scioscia, the catcher, and on the mound, Fernando Valenzuela with a record of 10-14, an earned run average of 3.06. Fernando Valenzuela. And the leadoff man for the Mets, Wally Backman. And Wally takes for ball 1.
Well, the lineup, Wally Backman leading off, Mookie Wilson and Keith Hernandez hitting second and third, followed by Foster, Strawberry, and Brooks, and then Chapman, Fitzgerald, and Gooden take up the slack.
And the pitch back for ball 2. Backman hitting .282 for the year, 1 home run, 21 RBIs. In games where he has led off the ball game with a base hit, the Mets are 16-8. And there's a strike call, 2-1. Backman's on-base average is .357. It has dropped considerably since the All-Star break. He's had 44 walks to go along with 105 hits.
And he's been pressed into service as the shortstop of the Mets because of the injury sustained by Rafael Santana the other evening. Gash in his right thumb.
And the fastball, a called strike, 2-2. Valenzuela with 191 strikeouts. Goes to the screwball in the count, 3-2.
He'll throw that pitch any count. He throws it 3-2. I doubt that he'll throw it to Backman here, with the theory that, you know, for a leadoff man to get on, a walk's as good as a hit, and he'll probably challenge him with a fastball. But you never know. He can get any of his pitches over, similar to that Juan Marichal of yesteryear.
And the fastball, it just does miss. So Backman gets his 44th walk.
Ralph, I have never seen Fernando Valenzuela show this type of emotion on the mound after that pitch. Doug Harvey called it low, and the Dodgers were up in the dugout asking where was it. Ball looked like a strike to me. Sometimes the angle of the camera, but in fairness to Valenzuela, I think he had a good complaint there.
Well, Valenzuela, as well as the Dodgers, having an off year. Valenzuela with a record of 10-14. And the Dodgers are 4 games under 500, 13.5 games out of first place. And now Mookie Wilson looks at a strike. Mookie hitting .279, 7 home runs, 37 RBIs. He has been hot. In his last 4 ball games, he's had at least 1 hit, and he's 9 for 18 over those 4 games. That's 500 with 7 runs scored. Throw to first base. Mets with switch hitters in their first 2 batting positions.
Hits Valenzuela like he owns him. Over the last 2 years, he is 13 for 24 against Fernando.
And there's the ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Says the reason why he hits Valenzuela so well, because I'm a bad ball hitter.
Interesting comment. And Fernando, if he's to be effective, he tries to get those hitters to chase that ball in the dirt.
Throws that screwball low and outside just off the plate to entice those hitters to go after it.
Serves as the illusion of a strike, but rarely is it.
Incidentally, Scioscia, the catcher, is coming off a rotator cuff, so he has not thrown well. The Mets are successful in stolen bases 77% of the time, so the stolen base can be looked for in this spot. And the fastball is missed. It's 1-2.
I've never really thought about this, but you rarely see Valenzuela's screwball taken for a strike. Most of the strikes he gets from that screwball are out of the strike zone, and most of them are swinging strikes. And I think he does that purposely.
1-2 the count. And a fastball again, strike 3. So Mookie powered out of there by Valenzuela, his first strikeout.
That's first baseman, number 17.
We said this in L.A., and I think it's true. This ball right on the corner, I think Valenzuela can be classified as a power off-speed pitcher. I think Steve Carlton can be classified as that over the last 10 years with that slider of his. But Valenzuela has so much other equipment to go along with that good fastball and good control.
Say, if you're looking for a super sporty car, see the Nissan 200 SX Turbo right at your Datsun dealer. Now Keith Hernandez, the batter. Keith hitting .309 for the year with 12 home runs, 79 RBIs. And another throw to first base. Hernandez brings a modest 5-game hitting streak, but over the 5 games, he is 9 for 18. That's 500 with 2 home runs and 9 runs batted in. Hitting hero of yesterday's win. Again, the first base.
He also brought the Mets out of the doldrums yesterday, or as ex-manager Frank Lucchese would say, the doodlums. Keith brought him out of the doodlums yesterday with a 3-run homer to put the Mets ahead to stay in a key game.
Put the Mets up by a 6-5 score. Backman is picked off. Anderson takes the throw from Brock, and Wally Backman picked off at first base. That'll go as a caught stealing. And now no one on and 2 men out.
Well, Valenzuela very patient. He kept throwing over there knowing that Backman would probably run. Interesting shot there. Greg Brock coming in toward the middle of the infield to give himself a good vantage point to make the throw. That's something a right-handed first baseman has to do, but a left-hander not so because of the angle of the throw.
So back to the windup, and the pitch is on the outside corner, and that's strike 1. Hernandez, a club leader in runs batted in with 79. What a year he is having. And a ball, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Keith in his last 64 ball games hitting .330 with 50 runs batted in. He's also had 41 walks in 46 games. Ground ball that Sachs backhands, and the throw to first base is in time. So Steve Sachs comes up with a good play to retire the side. No runs, no hits, a walk, a man picked off, no one left on. And the score at the end of 1, the Dodgers nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a good. We'd like to wish you a good recovery. In the hospital, and we wish you the very best, and we hope you're successful like Dwight Gooden in your recovery.
And we hope you're successful like our pal up at Major League Baseball, Steve Stern, who just got out of the hospital this weekend. Glad that Steve's feeling better.
It's the top of the second, no score, and Mike Marshall, the leadoff for the Dodgers, and Gooden's first pitch, ball 1. Marshall hitting .258 for the year with 20 home runs and 58 RBIs. And the breaking ball for ball 2. Gooden struck out 1, as did Valenzuela in the first inning, so they're still the same amount apart as they started the ball game. Dwight with 202 strikeouts at the start, and Valenzuela with 191. And there's a strike. It's 2-1.
There are some pitchers in the major leagues where it's not imperative that they pitch ahead of the hitter. Dwight Gooden's one of them.
And this hit deep to left center field. It's way back. Going back is Mookie Wilson, and Mookie uses up 395 feet of the field to make the catch.
Mike Marshall got a lot of that one, didn't he? He hit that ball a ton, and the reason we were talking about it's not imperative for Gooden to stay ahead is because he can blow you away even behind in the count, even though his control might not be as good. But with him, all you try to do as a catcher is to get him to throw for the big part of your body and not the mitt. Some guys have to be too fine. Not so with Gooden.
And that brings up Greg Brock. Brock hitting .229 with 13 home runs and 29 RBIs, and there's the first hit of the ball game. Brock singles to right field.
Greg Brock has 8 stolen bases. He has not been caught yet. You usually don't think of a guy that big who can run as well as he can. Same with Mike Marshall, who runs fairly well. Dwight Gooden's problem this year has been his pickoff move.
That brings up Mike Scioscia. Mike hitting .389 against the Mets this year with 7 hits and 18 times up. His overall average a fine .288, and he has 3 home runs and 29 RBIs. Scioscia and Steve Yeager share the catching duties for the Dodgers. Brock a short lead at first base. He does not go, and the pitch is called a strike. He's having a pretty good year when you look at those stats. .315 over his last 44 ball games. 1 strike to count. And a ground ball down to Hernandez. Can they make two? There's one, and no other throw as Brock takes out Backman at second base.
Well, the fans here booing, but they really don't know what they're booing about because that is a perfectly legal play. Very clean. No spikes involved. Watch him trip up Wally Backman. Did that perfectly the way it should be done. Backman, not normally a shortstop, couldn't make the throw, and he properly held on to it.
So the force play at second for the second out of the inning, and the batter now will be Steve Sachs. Sachs hitting only .237. He has 1 home run, 32 runs batted in. And the first pitch for ball 1. Sachs was the Rookie of the Year in 1982. Last year, Darryl Strawberry broke a string of Rookies of the Year that the Dodgers had. They had 4 straight years that they had the Rookie of the Year. Steve Howe, Rick Sutcliffe, and Fernando Valenzuela, along with Steve Sachs. And there's a booper out in the right center, a base hit. Scioscia goes to second base and holds there. And so Sachs with a bloop base hit to right, and runners at first and second with 2 men out. And he'll bring up
Here's the third baseman,
Herman Rivera.
Herman Rivera.
Herman hitting .266 with 2 home runs and 12 RBIs. He's 1 for 8 against the Mets this season. Did not play in the early part of the year. Was brought up to the Dodgers. No score in the ball game. The Dodgers are threatening with runners at first and second. 2 men out here in the top of the second. And the first pitch is strike.
Talking about Dodgers Rookies of the Year, they had the first Rookie of the Year, the inception of that award, 1947, and who else but Jackie Robinson. First Rookie of the Year in the National League.
And the good curveball, strike 2.
Is some kind of curveball, even though it's up a little bit. You see from where it started, right around the cap, ended up around the waist.
2 strikes to count. Back to the curve, and Rivera lucky to get a piece of it. Fouls it over into the dugout. Count stays at strike 2. Dodgers started the season with Guerrero at third base. That didn't work. They have runners at second and first base with 2 men out. Fastball, strike 3. That ends the inning. The second strikeout for Dwight Gooden. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left on base. And the score at the end of 1.5 innings, the Dodgers nothing, the Mets nothing. Pitchers going here in this ball game tonight, Fernando Valenzuela and Dwight Gooden. And coming in for the play-by-play, the man who caught 2 of the greatest pitchers of all time, Steve Carlton and Bob Gibson.
And I was glad I was on the other end of it instead of hitting against them. And I can safely say that I'm glad in the booth tonight, that I'm in the booth tonight instead of down there with a piece of lumber in my hand. George Foster, the batter. George batting .261, 19 home runs. He leads the Mets in home runs. And he has 71 RBIs, batting .222 against the Dodgers, but he does have 4 of his 19 home runs against Los Angeles, all of them solo shots. Fastball is low, 1-0. George has been crushing the ball over the last 2 months, as you see, 310 over his last 53. His fastball low, 2-0.
Valenzuela, with a record of 15-10 last year, has just about the reverse of that this year. He's 10-14.
George Foster.
Looks
like Fernando's staring him down, doesn't
right. Yeah, it looks like Valenzuela's pulling the Foster act.
Uh-huh.
Now Foster's going to back out. You knew that was going to happen.
Yep. Now Scioscia's looking at Foster. It's bad on your knees when you're a catcher. You're down there giving signs, and you're saying, well, somebody do something.
Come on, man. My knees are going.
Yeah, let's go. I honestly do not think that George Foster stepping out like that serves as any intimidating factor, even though he tries to make it appear so. However, that ball hit well to left field, but right at Mike Marshall, and there's one away.
Well, the battle of stare down won by Valenzuela.
Yep. Darryl Strawberry, the batter. He is 0 for his last 15. His batting average has plummeted to .248. He has really been struggling. He's not had a home run since July 31st. So now Strawberry steps out of there, but for obvious reasons, he was not ready. Breaking ball outside, 1-0.
In spite of that stat against Valenzuela, Strawberry struggled against the Dodgers. He's hitting only .194 against them this year.
Fastball inside. He has not homered against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The only team in the National League against whom he has not homered. No score. Just getting started here. Brilliant matchup. This fastball low, 3-0. Hubie Brooks on deck. Mets 6-3 against the Dodgers this year. 2-1 here at Shea Stadium and 4-2 in Los Angeles. Steps out again. Looks like Valenzuela's really having a tough time seeing the signs. Sometimes his shadow crosses between the legs of the catcher, and you have a tough time picking up those fingers. This fastball is ball 4. Second walk issued by Fernando Valenzuela. So Strawberry's at first, and there's one away in the batter, Hubie Brooks.
Strawberry getting his 62nd walk. The leader in walks is Keith Hernandez with 83. Strawberry is 8th in the National League in receiving walks.
Hubie with 12 home runs. That's a career high. He is one shy of his career high in RBIs. He has had a fine year, batting .289. Drove in 58 for the Mets last year, but he had 40 points lower. Screwball and a beauty, 0-1.
Hubie has had 12 runs batted in his last 13 ball games.
10 for 33 against the Dodgers. Mets have played the Dodgers very, very tough this year. This fastball misses, 1-1.
With 3 games left, the Mets have won 6 of the 9 games played so far this year.
They were 6-6 against the Dodgers last year. Valenzuela 0-1. He's lost 3 in a row against the Mets. Last time the Mets beat him back in July of 1982. Throw to first base. Strawberry back. Looked very runnerish there, Mr. Kiner.
Made a little move towards second base before Valenzuela picked him up.
Valenzuela's already picked off Wally Backman. Strawberry had a notion. The screwball high and away. It misses. 2-1 to Hubie Brooks. Can't worry about that guy over there too much, right? The guy with the bat in his hand's the one who's going to hurt you. Darryl giving Valenzuela something to think about other than the hitter. Another throw over there.
Darryl with a very short lead. He is not adept at taking good leads.
I think that all the Mets base runners could work on that. Mookie Wilson, of course, with a good lead. There goes Strawberry, and Brooks fouls it back.
I think that was a good break for the Mets. Strawberry did not have a good jump. It was a high fastball, a good pitch to throw. And Strawberry not off that bag in a hurry.
Best base runner I have ever seen at taking leads and using his speed to the utmost was Maury Wills. The longer the lead, the more inclined he was to go back to first base. The shorter the lead, the more inclined he was to run. Grounded to short, could be 2. Sunday hop to Anderson, and Sachs turns it. 6-4-3 double play gets Valenzuela and the Dodgers out of mild trouble here in the second. And after 2, facing Fernando Valenzuela, then the top of the order, Dave Anderson and Kenny Landreau. No score, top of the third. Dodgers with 2 hits and the Mets with none. Valenzuela, an excellent hitting pitcher. He has a home run and 4 RBIs.
They all came at one swing. Grand slam home run off Steve Carlton. He's had 10 base hits, even though his stats don't look too strong. 169. He is a good hitter. They use him as a pinch hitter once in a while. I was told he can hit from the right-hand side well, too.
He's a marvelous athlete. Runs well. Did he go too far? Yes, says home plate umpire Doug Harvey. And if you're wondering how the K situation is here at Shea, Gooden has 2, Valenzuela has 1. This one high and tight, 1-2. K corner to be distinguished from Kiner's corner. That will be seen after the game, as it is always in home games here at Shea Stadium. Fernando has a good cut and fouls it back.
They'll be hearing from my lawyer very shortly.
You copyrighted that name,
That's
didn't
right.
you?
Infringement on my right.
1-2 to Valenzuela. Curveball ripped down the left field line. Foster is going to go all the way to the wall to get to it, and Valenzuela pulls into second with the 3rd Dodger hit. So Gooden got that curveball right up in his eyes, and he knew what to do with it.
And Valenzuela gets on top of it. A very good swing at that high curveball. And rips it down in the left field corner. Foster playing it off the fence. Gets it back in, and a leadoff double here in the 3rd inning.
Dave Anderson will be the batter. He may be bunting. Even though it's early in the game, you have 2 outstanding pitchers. Probably will be a low-scoring contest. So we'll see what Tommy Lasorda has Dave Anderson do. Hernandez expecting a bunt. He's in at first. Hubie Brooks creeping in at 3rd base. And he's bunting. And he bunts through it. Strike 1, 0-1.
This is not an easy play to get Valenzuela over to 3rd base, even though there is no force play. Especially with the pressure that's being put on by Hernandez. The way to make this play work is to bunt the ball and make Hubie Brooks, the 3rd baseman, field it.
And that's tough to do when you're facing a 95-mile-an-hour heater up in your eyes. Tough to get on top of that high fastball. Oh, and 1 to Anderson. Throw to second. Almost had him. Wally Backman sneaking in behind Fernando, who has his running gloves on and his jacket.
He better get a little lower. He might take that ball right in the body.
You don't want that. Fernando looks like a race car driver down there at second base, huh?
Gloves on both hands.
This fastball's a strike on the corner, so Anderson, in trying to bunt, has fallen in the hole. 0-2. Dave struck out his first time up. Kenny Landreau on deck. He'll be followed by Pedro Guerrero. Swing and a miss. He got him. 3rd strikeout for Gooden. And Dave Anderson fails to move Valenzuela. 1 away.
So Dr. K racks up another 205 for him now as you look at it again. Did it with power, all fastballs, and Anderson's not even close to getting the bat out in front.
Now, for all you novices out there, you can really see how that fastball can tie you up inside. That's why we talk a lot about high, tight, and low and away. Not that we're not novices, too. Here's Kenny Landreau. Landreau popped to third in foul territory his first time up, and the curveball's a beauty, 0-1.
Valenzuela taking the signs in Spanish.
Ball hit to right field. Strawberry there. Landreau didn't hit it that hard. Looked like a trademark shot on the curveball. Strawberry flags it down, 2 away. And the batter, Pedro Guerrero.
Here's the swing on Ken Landreau right here. It's a breaking ball. He stayed on it pretty well. Didn't quite get his weight transferred forward on it. And hit a line drive to right field, but to shallow right field. Valenzuela unable to advance. There's another look at it. Way too far back to really drive the ball, even though it was a curveball.
Guerrero hit it hard the first time up. Line to center fielder Mookie Wilson. Dodgers have only 1 run scored against Gooden this year. And this man right there is responsible for it. He homered off Gooden. This fastball misses. Good low ball hitter.
Guerrero hitting .286 against the Mets this year with 2 home runs. He's had 10 base hits.
Good curveball is low, however, 2-0. Gooden has struck out 25 Dodgers in only 17 innings this year. His high for the year came on May 25th when 14 Dodgers went down in only 8 innings. First time he faced him, he struck out 11 in the regulation 9 innings.
14 strikeouts, tying a rookie record by a Met pitcher set by Nolan Ryan.
Fastball outside, 3-0. Do you hit him here?
Absolutely.
No reason not to. Power to power. Gooden to Guerrero. Massive upper body strength for Pedro Guerrero. Grounded to third base. He was green lighted. And Hubie Brooks throws over a ducking Fernando Valenzuela, but he gets Guerrero. So the leadoff double goes for naught as he stays at second base as the Dodgers fail to score. And after 2.5, no score. The remainder of the year, the last 5 weeks, on Tuesday night, September 11th, the Mets will stage a very unique fireworks demonstration immediately following the 7:35 game with the St. Louis Cardinals. The show will be hosted by author George Plimpton and will include an aerial display choreographed to music and the famous Grucci grand finale. Show will also feature a segment in which Mr. Plimpton will describe the different shells that constitute a major fireworks display. So come on out to Shea on Tuesday night, September 11th. The Mets and the Cardinals, 7:35. Fireworks immediately following the ball game. Not too many fireworks here tonight so far. Dodgers have all 3 hits in this game. Don't expect to see too many fireworks in a game like this.
The Mets have had 2 base runners, but both on walks, and now the hero of yesterday's ball game, along with Keith Hernandez, stepping in.
Kelvin Chapman hit his 2nd major league home run in fine fashion yesterday. It was a grand salami. Fouls this one off, 0-1. Kelvin 4 for 16 against the Dodgers, a crisp .250. Mike Fitzgerald on deck. And he pushes a bunt. It's a good one, but not quite far enough toward the second base bag. Greg Brock, very alert, tags out Chapman, 1 away.
Well, you have to make the ball get by the pitcher and also make the second baseman field it for it to be perfect. The speed of the bunt was fine, but it was not far enough over, and so Brock has the easy play.
Certainly a good idea. Wrong position.
Well, One away.
One down. And Mike batting .239 on the year. The curveball just misses. Scioscia wanted that pitch. Doug Harvey said it was just so-so. So it's 1-0. Swing and a miss at a good screwball.
As Tim pointed out before the broadcast, he throws several types of screwballs. A hard screwball just moves over a little bit, and then he takes something off the screwball, and it breaks quite a bit more. Sort of like a reverse slider and a reverse curve.
There's a good fastball, and that's what that screwball will make you do. Fastball you'd ordinarily rip, leave your feet on, you take because you're looking for something else. 1-2 to Fitzgerald. Another fastball got him. You think he wasn't looking for a screwball on those two pitches. Second strikeout for Valenzuela. Both were called, and they're 2 away.
And both were off fastballs. There it is again. This is a perfect pitch. Always thought a low outside fastball to a right-hand batter was an excellent pitch, especially if the hitter's a good hitter.
Certainly tough to pull that pitch. Dwight Gooden, the batter. Gooden batting .154. Does have 3 RBIs, however. Fastball misses, 1-0. Gooden 8 for 52 on the year. No score. Bottom of the 3rd inning. 2 out, nobody on. This one fouled down the right field line. Dwight turns 20 years old November 16th. Fernando's having problems getting the signs. I think it was more than initially we thought it was a Foster confrontation, but I don't think so now. Another foul ball, 1-2. Sometimes to prevent that, catchers wear tape around their fingers. See that shadow in there? A lot of times it's tough to see because of the shadows between the legs. Screwball stays alive, 1-2.
And you say, well, why don't you put the fingers down a little bit lower? But if you do that, they can steal the signs.
That's right. Your coaches can see it, and so can the crowd here on hand. About 35,000 on hand to see these 2 fine young strikeout artists going at one another. 1-2 to Gooden. This fastball just misses, 2-2. Stays alive, just got a piece of it off the glove of Mike Scioscia. So it's still 2-2 to Dwight Gooden.
Talking about the crowd here tonight, it's obviously more than would be the average crowd. They figure that Valenzuela packs them in, and so does Dwight Gooden.
And a good screwball gets Gooden. 3rd strikeout for Valenzuela. For those of you keeping track, both pitchers now have 3 apiece. And after 3...
small ripple, a small wave here. It didn't really catch on. At Dodgers Stadium, the last series the Mets played there, they had the wave in Dodger Stadium for the first time for a professional ball game. It actually started when they had the Olympic exhibition games there. As we go to the top of the 4th, here is Steve Zabriski.
Thanks, Ralph, and good evening, everybody. It'll be the middle of the lineup for the Dodgers, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters against Dwight Gooden. Mike Marshall, followed by Greg Brock and Mike Scioscia. And a fastball high to Marshall for ball 1. Marshall fly deep to Mookie Wilson in left center field in front of the 396 sign back in the 2nd inning. And 2 balls, no strikes. Well, they're getting it going a little better now, Ralph. It may not be the prettiest wave, but it's one of the noisiest. 3-0 now to Marshall. Marshall, a career 300 hitter against the New York Mets. Came into the game hitting .250 against the Mets this year. 3-1.
Marshall hit his first home run off Tom Seaver.
And he's a guy you would think would hit a few before he's through. First walk issued by Dwight Gooden as Marshall leads off the fourth inning with a free pass. And for the second consecutive inning, the Dodgers have their leadoff man aboard. Greg Brock singled to right his first time up.
Well, Marshall is called Bigfoot, not because he's a fast runner, but because he wears a size 16 shoe. Marshall has just 4 stolen bases. But the stolen base always a threat when Gooden is pitching.
That's right. Dwight with a big leg kick and a long windup. I would think it would be hard for anybody with a size 16 shoe to be a fast runner. Fastball right through there, and it's strike 1. So after falling behind, Dwight jumps out in front of Brock.
Might win a race in the snow.
There's some basketball players with good-sized feet that can run pretty fast, but they're covering a lot of ground because of the long legs, probably. Boy, Brock was well off the bag and made a move late, and he's lucky to get back. Or Marshall, I should say. One strike to count to Brock. Fouled away, 0-2. You know, Ralph, we talked in Los Angeles about Brock's unusual batting stance, the way he stands straight up, almost with his knees locked, and rests the bat on his shoulder. And he has to bend his knees and move his hands before he can start his swing. You'd think he'd be susceptible to the fastball. Fouled right at the plate. It hops out in front, but it's a foul ball, still 0-2.
They haven't had many hitters successful with a straight-up batting stance. High Pockets George Kelly hit that way with a long stride. For those of you who go back a few years in baseball, I didn't see him bat, but I was told about it.
Brock has been struggling so much over the last couple of years, he's probably going through phase number 38 with his batting stances. Just a token throw to first.
When you see an unusual approach to hitting, it's usually devised to compensate for a problem that the hitter has had.
And a breaking ball gets him. Strikeout number 4 as another K goes up in the K corner for Gooden.
And this is his first strikeout off the curveball, and it's out of the strike zone. There you see the stance of Greg Brock, and he's fooled completely by that pitch. That's a wave at the curveball. Different kind of a wave that we have seen in the stands.
Dwight with number 206 on the year, and here is Mike Scioscia, who hits the Mets very well. A pitch out, but nothing happening. Scioscia reached on a fielder's choice his first time up in the second, was stranded at second base. Hitting .389 coming into the game against the Mets, .288 on the season against the league. Marshall at first with 1 out. There are the updated statistics with Gooden and Valenzuela's strikeouts tonight added. And another throw to first. Dwight might be paying a little too much attention to Marshall, I think, Ralph.
Yeah, Marshall's not really such a threat to steal.
And he does not have a big lead. There he's running, however, and the pitch is fouled off. Hit and run. Scioscia fouls it away. It's strike 1, 1-1 as Marshall goes back to first. Scioscia wants Joe Amalfitano, the third base coach, to give him the signs again. Scioscia, a good guy to hit and run with. He does not strike out very much. Close pitch taken for ball 2. 2-1. Gooden has given up 3 hits, walked 1, and struck out 4 in 3 1/3 innings so far. Three and 1 now. Steve Sachs on deck for L.A.
Well, Scioscia in a good hitting position now. He's a good fastball hitter. He can sit on the fastball with a count 3-1. Just look for it.
Oh, he had him leaning and almost got him. Marshall was leaning towards second and barely got back.
Dwight Gooden has picked up only 1 batter in his entire career, including Little League, high school, you name it. But you got to remember, there haven't been many men on base against him.
Something he didn't have the opportunity to work on in the minors last year very often at all. Runner goes, and a drive to center field. Mookie Wilson underneath it. Marshall back to first with 2 away. And that'll bring up Steve Sachs. Saxy with a single to right, his first time up. Sort of a blooper over the head of Kelvin Chapman. As you see, hitting very well against New York this year. Came into the game hitting only .237 against the league, however, and he takes a fastball for strike 1.
He's had a very disappointing year. He was the people's choice last year after being the rookie of the year his first year. That was 1982. Last year he hit .281.
Strike 2. He seems, however, Ralph, this season to have conquered his throwing problems to some degree. He's had problems in the field, but not like he did last year.
Had 30 errors at second base last year. This year he's had only 19.
And most of those 30 were throwing errors. 2 strikes on him. Runner goes. And a strikeout on a breaking ball in the dirt. Number 5 for Gooden ends the 4th inning as he strikes out 2, gives up a walk, and leaves a batter. In the middle of the 4th, there's still no score here at Shea between the Mets and the Dodgers, and we're back. Faced the minimum through the first 3. He walked 2, however, including Wally Backman, who was caught stealing, actually picked off and thrown out at second. And then a double play in the 2nd inning erased the other base runner. And the breaking ball drops in there for strike 1 to Wally. And the fastball misses inside, so it's 1-1. Fernando has not allowed a base hit and has struck out 3 through the first 3. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, he's throwing him a curveball, a fastball, and a screwball. 3 pitches.
And he still has something left that Wally hasn't seen yet. Fastball lined, but Brock snares it. 1 away. Wally hit it well. Well, Channel 9 has a fantastic lineup of late-night comedy, weeknight starting at 11. Tonight on the Phil Silver Show, Sergeant Bilko makes a marriage proposal to a woman he doesn't love. And then at 11:30, the Burns and Allen Show, Gracie thinks George has a new flame, a cute cigarette girl. Well, Bilko on the Burns and Allen Show tonight starting at 11. Mookie Wilson struck out looking his first time up. And he swings at a bad ball for strike 1.
Can't understand George Burns going for a cigarette girl. She'd have to be a cigar girl.
It doesn't make much sense, does it?
No.
But maybe she also has cigars. I certainly hope so. too high with the fastball. 1-1. Mookie came into the game hitting .520 career against Valenzuela. Fastball fouled back, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It looks like Valenzuela has given up trying to fool Mookie Wilson. He's gone to the fastball this time against him. He struck him out earlier with a fastball.
Dance with who brung you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he certainly hasn't been getting him out previously in his career with Mookie hitting .520, so I guess he better change his approach. And he really threw him a funny-looking pitch that time. I don't know if that pitch has a name, but it strikes him out.
That was a Mexican dry spitter right there.
I'm telling you, that ball went down.
Boy, here it is from this angle. Watch it drop out.
Check the baseball. 4th strikeout for Fernando. He now has 195. 2 out in the inning with nobody on. And here's Keith Hernandez, who grounded to second his first time up. He, a .364 career hitter against Fernando coming into tonight. Fastball catches the outside corner at the knees. Strike 1. Hernandez working on a 5-game hitting streak over which he's hitting .500 with 2 homers and 9 RBIs. Fouled away. 0-2. Valenzuela has retired the last 6 in a row, going back to the 2nd inning. Again fouled out of play, still 0-2. Manufacturers Hanover, the financial source worldwide. Low and inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Boy, what discipline and what an eye Hernandez has.
He leads the league in walks.
It's also tied for first in on-base percentage coming into today with Tony Gwynn at .414. 2-2 now. Of course, you walk 83 times, you're bound to be up there in on-base percentage and hit over 300 at the same time.
Yeah, he has 135 hits and 83 walks.
Again, it's out of play, and the count remains 2-2.
Right there is what makes Hernandez a good hitter. He's guarding against the off-speed pitch, the screwball or the curveball, and he gets a fastball, and he's able to get the bat on the ball and foul it off.
And you'll notice the ones he's fouled off have been away while he's taken those pitches inside. That pitch inside is drilled foul. Still 2-2. Keith has moved up now to a tie for 4th place in the National League in RBIs. Gary Carter of Montreal has 92 to lead the league. And Keith with his 79 tied with Ron Cey of the Cubs for 4th place. 3-2 now. I'd say regardless of what happens here, Ralph, this has been a good at-bat.
He's seen enough pitches. He's really worked at this. Valenzuela has 18 shutouts in his major league career. He's 159. Let me see how consistent he is.
He has 9 complete games this year, although he's 10-14. Fouled away again. Holding it 3-2. Hernandez facing Valenzuela with 2 out and nobody on. Scoreless ball game here in the bottom of the 4th. And now Fernando again appears to be squinting in at the signs from Scioscia, so Hernandez stepped out a moment. Outside, ball 4, walk number 84 for Hernandez.
That is Keith's 42nd walk in his last 47 ball games.
And the third issued by Fernando tonight. Fernando not too thrilled with umpire Doug Harvey behind home plate tonight. And here's George Foster, who really had a little battle with Fernando, stepping in and out back in the second inning, and then lined a pitch right to Mike Marshall in left. Hernandez at first with 2 out. Foster now stepping out on Fernando. Inside, ball 1. George hitting .310 over his last 53 games with 39 RBIs in that span. And a base hit to center. Foster picks up the first hit of the game off Fernando Valenzuela. First and second with 2 out.
Well, right here, a fastball out over the plate. Foster rips it up the middle. And the Mets have a base hit. As we look at it again, Foster just a little bit behind that pitch, but able to get the good part of the bat on the ball for the base hit. Runners at first and second, 2 men out. Darryl Strawberry, the batter.
Darryl hitting only .194 against the Dodgers, but .364 career against Valenzuela. Two out, 2 on. And a fastball right down Broadway, strike 1.
That's the first strike that Strawberry has seen. He was walked on 4 pitches his first time up. That was a good pitch to hit right there.
High and tight, 1-1. 2 straight fastballs from Fernando for Darryl. Darryl with 17 homers and 67 RBI. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And all fastballs. I don't believe he'll come back with another fastball here.
No, even though he's behind in the count, he'd almost have to throw some kind of breaking ball.
Good spot to guess right here. Strawberry out in front with the count, 2-1, looking for something else if he wishes.
And the breaking ball misses. 3-1. Now he can really get an idea and take a hack. Hernandez at second. He walked. Strawberry at first. He singled to center. Or Foster at first. And Strawberry with a count of 3-1.
First trouble that Valenzuela has been in.
And now Darryl steps out on him. Hubie Brooks on deck. Tipped for strike 2.
Oh, he got a fastball right there, and that was his pitch to hit. Now it changes as the odds are 3-2 on the count, much worse of getting a pitch that you're going to be able to really handle.
And the runners will be going with the full count and 2 out. And it's ball 4. Fourth walk issued by Valenzuela, and the bases will be loaded with 2 out for Hubie Brooks. And here comes the pitching coach.
Tommy Lasorda going through a real tough year this year, as you saw a shot of him moving around. Ron Peronowski, the pitching coach, out to talk to Valenzuela. Bases loaded.
I wonder if Peronowski speaks Spanish.
Good.
Probably learned a couple of years ago real quick when Fernando had all that success. Hubie has grounded into a double play tonight. But on the year before tonight, hitting .303 against the Dodgers. Bases loaded, 2 away. Strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
That was a perfect screwball.
Hubie's been driving in the runs lately, 12 in his last 13 games. One and one.
After that pitch, you have to figure you'll be throwing the screwball out over the plate again.
Bases full of Mets. We threw him a fastball. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a breaking ball tapped slowly to third. Rivera will have to hurry. Safe. 1-0 New York, and Hubie Brooks drives in his 58th run of the year.
Here it is again. It's a breaking ball. Top down to third. Rivera makes a good play on it, but Hubie beats the play at first base. That is his 13th run batted in his last 14 ball games, and the Mets take the lead 1-0.
Greg Bach trying to cheat a little bit and come off the bag to get the call. Didn't get it. And Hubie really busted it down there to beat it out. Bases still loaded for Kelvin Chapman, who had a grand slam yesterday afternoon against San Francisco. Chapman tried to bunt and bunted it right to Brock his first time up. A 58-foot breaking ball for ball 1.
Valenzuela has thrown 11 wild pitches, so he's susceptible to throwing that ball in the dirt. Good block on it by Scioscia, and that saved the run.
Well, when you've got as many pitches as he does, it's easy to cross up a catcher in the first place, and secondly, his ball moves so many different directions. It's no wonder he's thrown a lot of wild pitches.
Well, there are 2 spins in the ball. The curveball breaks out of the dirt one way, and the screwball breaks out of the dirt the other way.
And the fastball in the dirt may be the toughest of all to stop. 1 ball. 1-1. Had some downward motion on that pitch.
Chapman's got to forget about that grand slam home run he hit yesterday. He's got to make contact here.
Kelvin hitting .309 over his last 45 games. He's 2 for 6, 2 for 7 lifetime against Valenzuela. 2-1. Fastball tapped off the plate, a foul ball, says Doug Harvey. So the count is now 2-2.
Well, the noise of the crowd drowning out the airplanes flying over.
A rare occurrence here at Shea, but a welcome one. could fall. Yes, base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Strawberry. Brooks to third. It's 3-0 New York.
Kelvin Chapman coming through with a bloop base hit here. It's not pretty, but it certainly is effective. Just out of reach of Anderson, the shortstop. Foster scores, then Strawberry, and the Mets now lead 3-0 with runners left at third and first. And the batter coming up, Mike Fitzgerald.
Hubie at third and Kelvin at first. Fitzgerald called out on strikes his first time up. Still 2 out. 3 runs in as Fernando almost put it in Kelvin Chapman's helmet. Mets baseball coming your way on WOR. Ball 1.
All 3 runs scoring after 2 men were out. It started with a walk to Keith Hernandez on a very, very close 3-2 pitch.
Another throw to first.
I don't know why he's throwing over to first. The Mets don't figure to steal here, because if they do steal, Fitzgerald could be walked to get to the pitcher.
And that's outside, 2-0. An excellent point, Ralph. Chapman a base stealer, but not a base stealing situation. There's Dwight Gooden on deck. And that's outside. 3-0. There is. Excuse me, Rob. I was going to say there is no activity in the Dodger bullpen and has not been any throughout this inning.
Have to believe he's hitting here in the 3-0 count.
Ball 4. Valenzuela has now walked 5, and again the bases are loaded with 2 out.
And the Mets have batted around as Dwight Gooden becomes the 9th man to come up to the plate.
Valenzuela had only faced 9 through the first 3. And here he has faced 9 in the 4th inning alone. Gooden struck out swinging after fouling off some tough pitches to end the 3rd inning. And he's bunting, but he bunts it foul. Bunted it right down off the plate. Herman Rivera's eyes were about as big as a couple of saucers down at third base. He was playing behind the bag.
Well, he's still back. It's tough to bunt a runner in with the bases loaded because you have a forced play at home plate.
Swinging and fouling it away, 0-2. Even doubly difficult with 2 out because really there's a play at any base for the defense. But with the 0-2 count now on Dwight, I would assume that would be a moot point. And a line drive speared by Rivera. So Dwight hit that breaking ball on the nose, but Herman Rivera ends the inning as the Mets bat around and score 3 runs on 3 hits. And they take a 3-0 lead after 4 against the Dodgers and Valenzuela. That line drive off the bat of Dwight Gooden to end the inning and save a couple of runs, really, with the bases loaded. We'll lead it off here in the top of the 5th inning against Gooden and the Mets. There's no stopping the mighty Mets. The fans are out in force tonight.
Well, it's a perfect matchup. There's no doubt about that.
And Dwight with a little room to work here. After the game being scoreless for the first 3.5, Rivera struck out swinging his first time up, 1 of 5. Dwight has recorded. Gooden now with .207 on the year.
Incidentally, Philadelphia leading San Diego 6-0 after 5 innings.
Popped up, but it's out of play behind home plate. Strike one. Well, how about that game yesterday? 6 runs after they were down and came back to win that game. 10-8.
Tom Lasorda had a closed-door meeting right after that ball game. He was hot.
Fastball fouled back, and it's 0-2.
This has not been an easy year for the man who bleeds Dodger blue. Tom Lasorda is working on a multiple-year contract. First Dodger manager to have a multiple-year contract in years and years and years.
Even Walter Alston signed them one at a time.
Both 23 one-year contracts. A man who played 1 game in the major leagues, was at bat 1 time and struck out.
Out of play again, still 1-2. But he could manage.
Strong disciplinarian and an outstanding gentleman. Walt Alston, recovering from a very serious heart attack.
Number 6 for Dwight Gooden.
So Dr. K racks up another with a fastball. And he'll take on the pitcher Fernando Valenzuela, who doubled off of him his first time up.
Tomorrow night, catch the right news at the right time. A special time tomorrow night as Tom Dunn, Sarah Lee Kessler, and the rest of the News 9 staff present News 9 prime time at 7, just prior to the Mets and the Dodgers once again here on Channel 9 at 7:30. Fernando takes the ball low and inside. Valenzuela with a double down the left field line.
Double coming off a high outside curveball.
I think he swung when that ball was in the catcher's mitt.
If he stays in there, he's unhittable.
Ain't no way. I don't care how good a hitting pitcher you are. That's tough for a good hitter to handle that pitch. Foul back, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dwight Gooden is averaging 10.89 strikeouts per 9 innings. That leads the National League, actually leads the major leagues this year. Fernando averaging 8.47 strikeouts per 9 innings. Just got a piece of it. To foul it into the field level boxes, so it's still 1-2.
If Dwight can continue that strikeout average per 9 innings, he'll set the all-time record. Sam McDowell has the record of averaging 10.71 strikeouts per 9 innings. That was done back in 1965, and that year Sam McDowell struck out 325 batters.
Fernando hanging tough, fouls another one back.
Dwight has not thrown him any curveballs this time. But the curveball he did hit for the double was a bad curve.
And there's a breaking ball, fouled away, still 1-2.
That was a good curveball there.
That one was biting right in on his hands. Gooden, in addition to leading the league in that strikeouts per 9 inning category, is now just 37 strikeouts away from Herb Score's rookie record. Are those a couple of your passes, those guys out there?
Yeah, I left them.
Fastball just inside, so it's 2-2.
Give you an idea about strikeouts. Nolan Ryan averaged 10.57 strikeouts a year. He set the all-time strikeout record of 383. Gooden is above that.
And again, Valenzuela fouls it away. A low fastball this time. Still 2-2. Talk about a confrontation for the ball game. We're having one for this at bat. And again, another souvenir.
I'd like to see Dwight throw him a change of pace right now. I guarantee you Fernando would fall down.
He'd leave his feet going after it. Fernando does not want Dwight to strike him out. He is battling.
I tell you, Dwight hit him hard. That line shot that was caught by the third baseman Rivera saved 2 runs.
That pitch was out of the strike zone, but Valenzuela still fouled it off, so it's still 2-2.
He's been up there longer than any Dodger in this game.
And he has one of only 3 hits off Dwight. He's showing up the rest of the batting order. Ground ball to third. Hubie backs up on a funny hop with a long throw. Gets him just in time. Valenzuela was hustling and runs pretty well, but he's out. 2 away.
And some fine hustle on that ball hit by Valenzuela. Makes the play awfully close. Let's look at it again. First base umpire Jerry Crawford making the call, and the catch is made just a shade ahead of the runner taking the bag.
So Valenzuela fights a good fight, but will sit down with 2 away for leadoff batter Dave Anderson, who has struck out swinging twice. Fastball right down there. 0-1.
Dwight has had 1 strikeout in every inning.
And another fastball right down Broadway. Anderson can't be going up there looking for a breaking ball, but he's taken 2 pretty good fastballs. And he gets the curveball, but it's high. Dwight has struck out 10 or more batters 10 times this year. And he's got 6 through the first 4 2/3 tonight. 7. And Anderson 3 times. A 1-2-3 inning, albeit a long one for Dwight Gooden. And the Mets still lead 3-0 in the middle of the 5th inning. Now,
A high target for the pickoff. That's rather unusual. Usually hold it right down by the bat.
yeah, you're not going to make the tag up there. You're going to make the
That's
tag
right.
down on the ground.
You don't want to throw up high. Again, the first base. When Wally Backman was picked off at first base in the first inning, Valenzuela threw over there many times. He outlasted him.
Keith is one player who is bothered somewhat when the flight pattern of LaGuardia takes the Jets right overhead, and he will take the opportunity to step out and wait for the planes because he feels it does bother his concentration. And boy, if there's one guy that concentrates up there, it's Keith Hernandez.
Ball call. It's 1 ball, no strikes. One of the great incidents of all time happened with Lefty Gomez pitching in a World Series. Bases were loaded, 70,000 people in the ballpark at Yankee Stadium. A small airplane flew over Yankee Stadium. He stepped off the mound and watched it circle for about 5 minutes. That's when an airplane was unusual.
And it wasn't going anywhere.
Hall of Famer Lefty Gomez. And now, pitched way inside, 2 balls, no strikes. You know, when Carl Hubble struck out those 5 Hall of Famers in a row.
In the All-Star game?
Yeah, in the All-Star game in 1933, Gomez got a base hit.
Was that right?
To break up the streak.
And he was hitting 9th, obviously. Or at least I would assume.
Yeah. Actually, the streak was broken on ball hit by Dickey, and then Gomez followed with a base hit. American League won that game, although all you hear about are the 5 consecutive strikeouts by Carl Hubble, and rightfully so. Fantastic feat. Starting with Babe Ruth. There goes Mookie, and the pitch is high and inside. A bad throw by Scioscia. And Mookie has a stolen base. His 40th stolen base of the year.
Mookie with an outstanding jump. And even a real good throw would have been a very close play. Mookie sliding to the outside part of the bag. That head-first slide, getting his hand in on the front corner long before Anderson can bring that ball back to try and make the tag.
Anderson doing a good job picking that ball out of the dirt. So now the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Hernandez takes the strike. Mets leading by a score of 3-0. A runner in scoring position with 1 man out, bottom of the 5th inning. And the fastball is fouled away.
Boy, I bet Keith would like to have that pitch back.
Keith, the club leader in runs batted in, with 79.
Hernandez really likes the ball right about where Valenzuela gave it to him with that fastball.
3-2 the count. Ground ball hit hard to Brock at first base. He has it. He throws to Valenzuela, who makes the tag. Mookie rounds at third and stops there. So now 2 men away, a runner at third base, and the batter will be George Foster.
You saw Valenzuela turn around very quickly after he made the play at first. With Mookie Wilson at second, you can take no chances and take nothing for granted. He has scored from second on infield outs on more than one occasion.
Valenzuela always in the ballgame, a very alert ball player. Now a conference at the mound. I'd have to think that they're talking about the possibility of walking George Foster to get at Darryl Strawberry, a left-hand batter.
Well, yesterday with Hernandez batting in front of Strawberry, the Giants
left fielder
decided against walking Hernandez to pitch to Strawberry, and Keith hit a 3-run home run that gave the Mets the lead.
And they're going to put him on here. Foster singled in the 4th inning to keep a rally going. Now the intentional walk. It'll be walk number 7 given up by Valenzuela. His first intentional pass.
Well, you got to figure it's a pretty good move on their part, Ralph. Darryl has been struggling. Everybody knows it. He's walked twice in this ball game and has hit Valenzuela well throughout his career, but not the Dodgers as a whole, and not lately. 0 for 15 plus those 2 walks in this ball game. Pat Zachary warming up for the Dodgers.
Runners at first and third. The Mets leading 3-0. 2 men out, bottom half of the 5th inning. Darryl hit him 194 against the Dodgers this year with 7 hits and 36 at bats. And there's ball 1.
Darryl has been struggling really all season against left-handed pitching as a whole.
And ball 2. And Scioscia goes out to the mound to tell him to get the ball over.
I just had a meeting here. What's going on? He said, look, we walked the other guy to get to this guy. We're not going to walk this guy, too.
Scioscia wears a path out between the catcher's box and the pitcher's box.
Darryl hasn't seen many strikes from Fernando tonight.
Walked on 4 pitches his first time out. Now the 2-0 pitch. And it's ball 3. So the count at 3 balls and no strikes. The on-deck batter, Hubie Brooks. As Strawberry looks to see whether or not he'll get the hit sign or not. There is Hubie Brooks, who drove in the first run of the ball game with a 70-foot ground ball. 3-0 pitch. Strawberry taking. It's a called strike.
That's the 3rd strike in 13 pitches Valenzuela has thrown to Darryl Strawberry. 10 balls and 3 strikes. And a 3-1 pitch hit in the air
left field. Mike Marshall is there. And the strategy pays off. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, 2 left. And the score at the end of 5, it's the Mets. Well, the Garza Vega winner today, Watilda Pasco, 285 Dow Avenue, Island, New Jersey. Contest winner for today's ball game. And right now we're going to the top of the 6th inning. Mets leading 3-0. Dwight Gooden will be working against the Dodgers. They'll be sending up Ken Landreau, Pedro Guerrero, and Mike Marshall. Gooden has struck out 7, so he now has 209 strikeouts. And he is now tied for 6th place on the all-time list of rookie strikeout artists, headed by Herb Score, who struck out 245, the major league record back in 1955. Then Grover Cleveland Alexander, Long Tom Hughes, Christy Matheson, John Montefusco, and tied with Russ Ford and Don Sutton with 209, Dwight Gooden. And the fastball just high. Landreau is 0 for 2.
Dwight needs 36 now to tie Herb Score's record.
Fastball hit out to right center field. It might drop in. Mookie off and running to the warning track, and he cannot get it. Landreau on his way to third. The throw comes to third base, but not in time, as it's relayed by Chapman, and Landreau leads off with a triple.
Good base running by Kenny Landreau, as he took nothing for granted and busted it right out of the box. We talked about this the other night. You get a triple the first half of the way down the first baseline. Mookie made a valiant effort on the ball, going all the way to the wall, but it was just out of his reach. Look at the relay by Chapman. It's a perfect throw. It's just late is all, as Landreau hustled all the way around. There's Mookie going for the ball back into that Death Valley area between the 396 and 400 signs, on the track just over his glove.
And the third time the leadoff batter has been on base against Gooden. And the batter coming up will be Pedro Guerrero. Runner at third, no one out. Mets leading 3-0. Guerrero has flied to center and grounded out. Fastball popped up and playable. Keith Hernandez will try it. It was up there, but Keith makes the play. The runner holds at third base. 1 away.
Stepping up.
Now the batter will be Mike Marshall. Marshall has flied out to deep center and walked. So it's Mike Marshall to bat with a runner at third and 1 man out. Marshall coming to this ballgame hitting .258 with 20 home runs, the club leader in that department, and 58 RBIs. And he is the club leader in runs batted in with only 58. The Dodgers have scored less runs than any team in the National League. Came into this game with 459 runs scored, and there's strike 1. Say this, Bud's for you. Day or night is a right time to enjoy the clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. Dodgers have averaged just 3.5 runs per game. Fastball fouled away, and it's strike 2.
Well, it's situations like this, although Dwight has a 3-run lead, where the great pitchers really bear down. And Gooden appears to be doing just that.
2 strikes to count to Mike Marshall. And he struck him out. So Gooden gets his 8th strikeout of the ball game. He now goes into 6th place in the all-time strikeout rookie record for a single season.
Nothing fancy here, folks. Just a fastball in a perfect location with a whole bunch on it. And it's see you later.
So now with 2 men out, the batter will be Greg Brock, who has 1 of the 4 hits given up by Gooden. Single to right field in the 2nd. Also has struck out. And it's blooped out to shallow left center. Going back is Backman, and he makes the play. Wally Backman with a spectacular catch to end the inning. So no runs, a leadoff triple wasted, and the inning ended on this play.
Brock really gets eaten up with this ball, but it could have fallen in. Backman didn't even look for the first few seconds he ran, and that's how come he got there. He ran hard all the way. Great play.
So the score at the end of 5.5 innings, the Mets 3 and the Dodgers Brooks to lead off for the Mets. He drove in the first run of the ball game with an infield base hit, putting the Mets up 1-0. Mets got 2 after that, and they lead by a score of 3-0 as they bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Hubie Brooks, Kelvin, Chapman, and Mike Fitzgerald against Fernando Valenzuela. Hubie 1 for 2 in this game. Now has had 13 runs batted in his last 14 games. He has tied his all-time season high. And there's a base hit off the first pitch. So Hubie, who picked up his 58th RBI to tie his all-time season's high, his last time up, singles here in the 6th inning.
Rivera at third on isolation. No chance, however, as it was too sharply hit.
That'll bring up Kelvin Chapman. Chapman drove in 2 with a bloop base hit to left center field in the 4th inning. So in his last 2 ball games, he has driven in 6 runs, 4 on a grand slammer, his first in the major leagues, his second major league home run, that was yesterday, and 2 here on a single. And a drive to deep left field. It could be gone. It is going. It is off the wall. Hubie, who had held up at first base, now trying for third, and he'll be out. Bad base running by Hubie Brooks. And a double by Chapman is wasted.
It's inexplicable that Hubie Brooks was not at least standing on second base. Had the ball been caught, he had a week and a half to go back to first. This ball's hit very deep. If it's out of the park, he can jog home in front of Kelvin. From that position, Marshall's not going to be able to throw back to the infield, even if he does make the catch. And Hubie was not even halfway to second base, and that's why he was thrown out at third.
Catcher.
Kelvin was as far around first base as Brooks was by the time Hubie took off. That's horrible base runner.
It's a wonder that Chapman didn't pass Hubie Brooks as he held up at first. So the double leaving a runner at second base with 1 man out, and the batter's Mike Fitzgerald, and he swings and misses. Fitzgerald struck out looking his first time up, walked in the 4th inning, his second at bat.
The ball that Kelvin Chapman hit almost exactly in the same spot where his grand salami went out yesterday, just not nearly as far.
And the screwball misses, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Fitzgerald from the Dodger area, Lakewood, California, takes high and outside, and they count 2-1. Lakewood actually a suburb of Long Beach, California.
Long Beach actually a suburb of Los Angeles.
There are suburbs and suburbs and suburbs out there.
Just keep driving.
2-1 the count.
Someday it'll be wall-to-wall city from Ventura to the Mexican border, probably.
Absolutely. The 2-1 pitch. Screwball again. It just misses. And it goes to 3-1. I remember when Lakewood was just a mass of orange growth.
Out in the boonies.
Out in the boonies, on the way to the beach at Long Beach.
Did you ever go out grunion hunting on the beach near Ventura?
Never did that.
We used to do that as kids.
Go out at midnight, right?
Yeah, the grunion, little silver fish, run up on the beach at a certain time of year.
And there's a strike for strike 2, and it's 3-2. Valenzuela has struck out 4. Gooden has struck out 8. So Gooden with 210 strikeouts, Valenzuela with 195. They are 1-2 in the National League, in the Major Leagues, as a matter of fact. No one close to them in the American League. Mike Witt, I believe, leading in the American League last time I looked.
Let me check that out. I believe you are right. Yes, Mr. Witt has 159.
There goes the runner. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw is into left field. Now coming in to score on the air is Kelvin Chapman, and the Mets lead by a score of 4-0. Excellent base running by Kelvin Chapman as he steals third base and comes in to score on the air.
Kelvin's 7th stolen base of the year, and on this play, too, he really shows his experience. Remember, he's 27 years old and has been playing baseball professionally for quite a while, and boy, does he hustle. Hard slide into third, a head firster where he gets his hand in on the plate underneath Scioscia to make it a 4-0 ball game.
A strikeout on the pitch, so that brings up Dwight Gooden with 2 men away, and Dwight takes the first pitch for a called strike. Gooden has struck out and lined out. He lined out to third with the bases loaded to end the inning in the 4th. Rivera, the third baseman, making an excellent play, and there's a foul ball for strike 2.
That strikeout of Fitzgerald, Valenzuela's 5th.
And there's strike 3, so he got him on 3 pitches. But the Mets get 1 run. They had 2 hits. There was 1 error and no one left on base. And the score at the end of 6. The Mets
And went right up over Rivera. Rivera having no chance really to field it. And Chapman, not hesitating a second, gets his hand on home plate underneath Scioscia to score the 4th run. For the Dodgers against Dwight Gooden, it'll be Mike Scioscia, Steve Sax, and Herman Rivera. And coming back in to do the last 3 with me this afternoon, Tim McCarver.
All right, Steve. Mike Scioscia on the evening is grounded into a force out, and he's flied to center field. Error was credited to Scioscia on the throw that did hit the bag. Kelvin Chapman taking everybody by surprise. Reason it was a good play to continue coming home was Dwight Gooden would have been the hitter as Fitzgerald struck out on the play. Even if Chapman's thrown out at home, it's still a good play. Ball 1 to Mike Scioscia, 1-0.
And Mr. McCarver gracing us with the presence of his lovely youngest daughter, Kelly, in the booth tonight. Enjoying her visit to New York.
She's a pistol. Fastball inside, 2-0 to Mike Scioscia.
And what a blessing that she looks like her mother. Only kidding.
Why? Nothing wrong with that. Makes sense to me. 2-0 to Scioscia. Taking all the way, and it's 2-1.
Here comes the wave.
As Ralph Kiner says, what Sampson and Son consumes daily. This ball hit well to right field. It might be out of here. Way back out of here. Home run, Mike Scioscia. 4th home run of the year for Scioscia. And now the Mets lead is cut to 4-1.
Well, Dwight needs to bear down a little bit on the first hitter in the inning. He's walked one, given up a triple to Landreau, and now a home run to Scioscia. Scioscia, career .350 hitter against New York pitching. Gets a fastball down, and that's not a good place for Dwight. And he takes care of it over the .371 sign, his 4th of the year.
The only other run scored off the Mets' Dwight Gooden was a home run by Pedro Guerrero back on May 25th. And here's Steve Sax. Sax 1 for 2. Fastball is high. He has struck out and singled to right. There's a strike, 1-1. Gooden has struck out 8. He has walked only 1. Really pitched out of trouble in the 6th. Landreau led off the inning with a triple, and Gooden retired Guerrero on a pop. Curveball and a beauty, 1-2. Mike Marshall struck out, and then Greg Brock popped one softly to left center, and Wally Backman made a nice play to end the inning. Another curveball, and he held up, 2-2.
Sachs has hit in 8 of his last 11 ball games, but this has been a dismal year at the plate for number 3.
Really has. Batting .237. 7 stolen bases. However, he's been caught 16 times. Fouls this one off. Well, the runs the Mets have scored tonight. Ed Amelung is on deck. He'll be the hitter for Valenzuela. Make that for Germán Rivera. But the runs the Mets have scored have been weird runs, haven't they? Infield hit, broken bat, or a cue shot in the center field by Chapman. And the stolen base by Chapman. Lifted right side. Hernandez can't get to it. Still 2-2 to Steve Sachs.
Well, the Mets have been given opportunities to score because Valenzuela has walked 7 and given up 5 hits, so there are 12 base runners right there. The Mets have left 5 on in the first 6 innings, but lead 4-1.
2-2 to Steve Sachs. Fastball low, 3-2. Key man right here regained the momentum. Fly ball center field. Mookie Wilson backpedals a couple of steps and makes the catch, 1 away. Well, Charles Bronson, Jill Ireland, and Telly Savalas star in a drama about an ex-con who searches for the man who framed him and stole his girl. Horrors. The Family. Wednesday $1 million movie right here on Channel 9 at 8:30. How can you do any more than that? My gosh.
I'd be looking for him myself.
Vigilante committee. Here's Ed Amelung.
Amelung hitting .226 with no homers and 4 RBIs.
First pitch from Gooden, a curveball and a beauty. 0-1 to Ed Amelung.
And as a pinch hitter, he is 0 for 5.
Another strike on the inside corner. Amelung, one of a bevy of young players brought up by the Dodgers. Also brought up Brewer. Brock was brought back up after being sent down. Germán Rivera, Franklin Stubbs. Swing and a miss. He got him. Tough assignment to pinch hit against a guy throwing as hard as Dwight Gooden. 9th strikeout for Gooden.
Well, he struck out Germán Rivera twice. And Amelung missed that ball by 6 inches. So the number 8 man has been struck out swinging all 3 times. Dwight now with 211 on the season.
You have his 9 strikeouts. Dave Anderson has gone down 3 times. Rivera twice, and now Amelung, as you said. He's also struck out Sachs, Brock, and Mike Marshall. So he's passed it around. Valenzuela allowed to hit for himself. Now, what would you think if you're the 8th place hitter and you are pinch hit for, and the pitcher is allowed to hit for himself? You better hope the pitcher's a good hitter.
Well, Fernando has doubled in 2 trips. Rivera had looked bad striking out twice. So that might have something to do with it.
$33,765 paid tonight. $36,000 total to see these 2 fine young competitors. Dwight Gooden gets Valenzuela on a ground out, but the Dodgers are on the board. 1 run, a home run by Mike Scioscia, and that was the only hit. Dodgers left none after 6.5. It's 4-1 Mets.
The Mets and the Padres play a twilight doubleheader at Shea on Friday night, August 31st. And with the help of my buddy here, this computer, the Mets will stage a very exciting event between games. The Miracle Mets of 1969 will face Dave Johnson's 1984 Mets club in a game recreated on Diamond Vision. Comparable statistics were fed into the computer. The game has already been played, and you'll see the results that night. Also, a pair of computers will be given away on computer night, one to a fan picked at random, and one to the winner of Name Davy's Computer Contest. We know how much Davy Johnson relies on this little fella, and the winner of the contest will walk away with him. To enter the contest, pick up your entry blank at any participating Computerland store. That's Computer Night, Friday night, August 31st, the Padres and the Mets in a Twi-Nighter at Shea. What do you think about it, No Name?
Well, a reminder that Dream Week, and it will be a dreamy week in St. Petersburg, February 3rd through the 10th, as the participants will work out at Payson Complex in that Dream Week, where everybody pays a certain stipend. And the week will end with a game against former Mets at Al Lang Stadium, including Steve Zabriski and Ralph Kiner. All right.
We will be there in coaching capacity, Mr. McCarver.
It should be a lot of fun.
It's the only time you can pay money to get sore.
And if you want to do it, brochures and information may be obtained by writing to Dream Week in care of the New York Mets, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, 11368, or by calling the Mets during business hours, Monday through Friday at 507 METS. That's Dream Week, February 3rd through the 10th. If you want to surprise your dad for Christmas.
It'll be a lot of fun, and of course, the number of opportunities are limited, so call the Mets during regular business hours at 507 METS if you're interested in coming on down for Dream Week this February.
Should be a lot of fun. I was part of one in the St. Louis Cardinals last January, and really a warm, emotional time for a lot of people. You get to know guys who played the game. Wally Backman 0 for 2. He has walked, caught stealing after he walked. Then he popped to first and grounded back to Valenzuela. Make that bunted on a fine play back by Valenzuela. Fastball's a strike, 1-1 to Wally Backman. Say it's emotional because you really get to know all these fine gentlemen as they do you. A lot of fun. Grounded hard, and Sachs dropped it. Ball actually off his chest, and he comes up with a fine play. That ball took a wicked hop, one away.
This ball is smoked. A one-hopping line drive right into the chest of Sachs. Plays it like a third baseman, and just does get a hustling Wally Backman.
One away here in the 7th inning. 4-1, Mets up. Valenzuela and Gooden still in the ball game. Mookie Wilson, the batter. He has struck out twice, and he's walked, so he's failed to put a ball in play. Did have a stolen base in the 5th. Grounded right side once again. And Steve Sachs throws out Wilson, 2 away.
Here's the Mets first baseman.
Tomorrow night, the excitement of the Mets and the Dodgers continues when Channel 9 Sports presents Mets Live Baseball right from Shea Stadium. Be part of it tomorrow night at 7:30, just following News 9 prime time here on Channel 9. And in that game, Rick Honeycutt against Walt Terrell. Alejandro Pena against Ron Darling in Wednesday's finale, the last time the Mets will face the Dodgers this year. Come on out here to Shea Stadium and watch these rising stars as they try to catch those Chicago Cubs. 0-1 to Hernandez. Ball hit to left center. It might be trouble. Good play, Landro. Landro had a long way to go for that ball, but he came up with it as the Mets go in order here in the 7th inning.
Keith really drives this ball into the gap the other way. And Landro, who was playing pretty much straight away, went a long way and made a nice backhanded catch.
Yeah, that gave him the shot as the Mets go in order, as I said, and after 7, 4-1, Mets. Now a word from Budweiser. Jose Oquendo is in the ball game, spelling Wally Backman for late inning defensive purposes. Dwight Gooden has allowed 5 hits, as has Fernando Valenzuela, but the 7 walks that Valenzuela has allowed has certainly hurt his cause tonight. Dave Anderson, the batter, he has struck out 3 times against Dwight Gooden. Fastball is high, 1-0. One and 0 to Dave Anderson. Fouls it back.
That may be the most wood he's gotten against against Gooden tonight.
He has fouled off one more pitch, and that was it. 1-1 to Dave Anderson. From Richmond, Texas. Went to high school in St. Petersburg, to Gibbs High down there. Fouls another one back. 1-2.
Dwight with 9 strikeouts is only 1 away from that magic double-digit mark. That would give him 11 times this year he has struck out 10 or more. That will happen with his next strikeout.
Curveball got him. 4 times in a row has Dave Anderson gone down on strikes, and that's strikeout number 10. There it is, Steve.
On the breaking ball, Anderson misses it by about 6 inches, just as he did the previous time up.
Well, an escaped cult-leading killer is after Hondo. Tune into the suspense, mystery, and high-action crime drama of SWAT. Steve Forrest stars tomorrow night at 6, right here on Channel 9. Did I say drummer? Thought I did.
Well, you're either from the South or New England if you say drummer.
You're from the deep South if you say drummer. Sure enough, I am.
Sure enough.
Fastball is high.
There you go.
There you go. Another fastball misses. 2-0. Kenny Landreau tripled his last time up. He's flied to right field and popped to Hubie Brooks in foul territory. So he's 1 for 3. Another fastball misses. 3-0. Gooden has walked only 1 to go along with his 10 strikeouts. All 3 times he's faced the Dodgers this year. And he walks Landreau again. Make that a strike. Delayed call from Doug Harvey.
Landreau thought he had walked too.
Uh-huh. Got us both, Kenny. I'll laugh along with you.
Dwight has walked only 1 and striking out 10. And allowing, of course, only the 1 run.
Another strike taken all the way. That's good policy and good sound baseball. You're going to get the same pitch 3-2 that you got 3-1, and the Dodgers need base runners. Home run will close the gap, but the way you get innings started, runners on the bases. So it's 3-2 to Kenny Landreau. Fastball punched him right on out of there. 11th strikeout for Dwight Gooden. And Ken Landreau didn't even offer it that pitch. That was a strange way to react to that 3-2 pitch.
Well, Kenny obviously wanted to get a walk and get on base, but this pitch way too close to take. I mean, that's right over the heart of the plate at the knees. Harvey with the emphatic call, and the 11th K goes up in the K corner down the left field line.
Here's Pedro Guerrero. 0-1. Guerrero has not struck out tonight. Another curveball is low. Only he, Valenzuela, and let's see who else. Mike Scioscia, the only 3 in the Dodger lineup that have not been punched out. He tried to hold up. He didn't, though. 1-2. Dwight Gooden has now struck out 36 Dodgers in 23 2/3 innings this year. And the standing crowd of 33,000 wants another one. They will settle for no less. I think he held up in time. It was a ball outside. And it's 2-2.
We have 36,000 umpires on hand here tonight, and they just made a different call than the umpire that counts, Doug Harvey, made.
Strike 3 on a curveball. 12th strikeout for Dwight Gooden as he strikes out the side here in the 8th inning, and this crowd's going bananas. After 7.5 innings of play, as Guerrero looked like he wanted to smile there. The Mets lead 4-1. And now a word from Manufacturers Hanover. Well, as Darryl Strawberry did last year, Dwight Gooden certainly bringing a lot of fun to the fans here at Shea Stadium this year. Big difference is this year, the Mets 5.5 games behind the Cubs. Last year at this time, after 129 games, they were 53-75. Here's George Foster.
George 1 for 2 plus a walk. He singled and scored in the 7th inning. And he looks at strike 1. One and one. Foster got a big 2-out base hit in that 4th inning after Hernandez had walked with 2 out, and that kept it alive for Hubie Brooks, who eventually drove in a run, and Kelvin Chapman, who drove in 2.
Tom Gorman is warming for the Mets, but he's just loosening up. A lot of times when you go past the middle innings, the long men are allowed to loosen up. The only way they will enter a ball game is if it goes into extra innings.
Foster skies one to center field. Landreau drifting into left center and calling off Marshall. 1 away. Fernando has allowed 4 runs on 5 hits. He has struck out 6 and walked 7 as Darryl Strawberry will stand in. 0 for 1. He has walked twice and scored.
Can't really quarrel with the way Valenzuela has pitched tonight. The only problem is 7 walks. Some competitor.
Fastball for strike 1. Darryl is 0 for his last 16 official at bats. One and one. And in the strikeout race, Dwight is lengthening his lead tonight over Fernando. He has doubled Valenzuela with a dozen Ks. Out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Darryl.
Gives him 214 on the year. He's now 31 strikeouts away from the all-time record set by Herb Score back in 1955. Strikeouts by a rookie. He had 245 in 55 for the Cleveland Indians.
And he'll get the National League record before then.
13 away from that, 227.
And Darryl goes down swinging, now 0 for 17. 7th strikeout for Valenzuela.
And 198 on the season for Valenzuela. This ball out of the strike zone high, and Darryl Strawberry continues to struggle.
2 out, nobody on. And Hubie Brooks, who has 2 hits tonight and an RBI, will stand in. Hubie back over 290, as you see, once again, after dropping to 289. Fastball, strike 1. Hubie, as you see, has hit the Dodgers very well. One and one.
Rarely on a team do you see the apex and the nadir of emotional success exhibited than on the Mets right now, with Gooden going extremely well and Strawberry floundering.
Hubie fouls it off, and it's 1 and 2. Well, they both have a lot of career left, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And a world of natural ability to play with.
Darryl, by the way, now 0 for 17.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Hubie Brooks, batting with 2 out and nobody on. The Mets are leading 4-1. 2-2. Scoreless through the first 3, and the Mets scored 3 runs in the 4th, added 1 in the 6th inning. The only Dodger run came on a Mike Scioscia home run in the 7th inning, his 4th of the year. 3-2 now to Hubie. That home run by Scioscia, only the 7th home run that Dwight Gooden has allowed this year. He is 5th in the league in innings per home run allowed ratio. Well hit to left field. Marshall goes back, and that ball's out of here, way out of here. Hubie Brooks jacks one out with 2 out, number 13 on the year for Hubert, and it is 5-1 New York.
Well, I can't understand it. Coming into this year, Hubie Brooks' career high in home runs was 5, and now he's got 13. Now, I do know players do get stronger, but that much stronger? I mean, most of the home runs that he has hit have been no doubt about them, and there's no doubt about this baby. That ball hit a ton. It clears the pavilion out there in left field.
Hubie now has driven in 14 runs in the last 14 games, and he'll take a curtain call.
He has also surpassed his career high in RBIs with 59.
That's right, 58 last year, his previous high. And here's Kelvin Chapman, who's had a couple of hits tonight, driven in 2 runs and scored 1. Kelvin with a single and a double in 3 trips. And that was called a strike. Chapman's average now back up over 300 at 304. 1-1 to him. Two and 1. Has Valenzuela thrown tonight as many screwballs as he normally has?
I don't think so. I think that's an interesting point. A lot of fastballs tonight. Not a lot of breaking balls, not a lot of screwballs. The hit that really killed him, though, was the screwball that Chapman cued over the shortstop's head, over Dave Anderson's head. Big difference between 1-0 and 3-0 in the middle innings. There's a Scroogey.
Yep. But we haven't seen near as many tonight as we ordinarily have from Fernando, and it's 3-2 now on Chapman.
It's a tough pitch on the elbow. I know Tug McGraw used to have elbow problems all the time because that elbow does take a beating when you throw that pitch.
High chopper to third. Landeskog on a long throw, doesn't get him. Oh, he's called out by Jerry Crawford, and I umpired that play before Crawford did because I thought he was safe.
Well, it is a mighty close play. Here's the screwball on the 3-2 count. You notice how that ball went down. Landeskog back, sets, and now he throws. Let's see. Think he had him.
Boy, too close to call. Looked like a tie to me. Well, anyway, innings over. 1 more run on Hubie's homer. 5-1 New York as we go to the 9th after this word from Datsun. Dwight Gooden going after his 4th complete game of the year. The shutout is gone on the Mike Scioscia home run in the 7th. But Dwight also looking to pick up win number 13, which would lead the Mets in victories and also give him the lead this year in the National League among rookie pitchers. He and Langston of Seattle in the American League both tied with 12 victories on the year. So Dwight's 13th on hand tonight. If he can get the Dodgers here in the 9th, Mike Marshall will lead it off, to be followed by Greg Brock and Mike Scioscia. Marshall 0 for 2. And the remaining 30,000 or so are going to umpire every pitch here in the 9th and make the calls themselves. Dwight has already struck out 12. 0-2.
I don't know how he's going to do the rest of the inning, but I'm telling you, he reached back on those 2 fastballs. 2 of the best fastballs he's thrown all night.
Well, we've said it before. He gets stronger as the game goes along. popped up into short right field. Strawberry calls for it, and one away. And Getty would like to congratulate the new young Dwight Gooden for performing miles ahead of himself, although it's becoming routine for the Doc. And he'll be presented with Getty gift certificates. At Getty, the proof is at the pump. Here's Greg Brock. Brock has singled, struck out, and popped to short on a fine play by Wally Backman in the 6th inning. And he stands out for a moment. 1 out, nobody on here in the 9th inning. A 5-1 New York lead. Breaking ball misses inside, ball 1. Low fastball lofted into short left center. Foster and Mookie converge, and Mookie makes the catch. Nice play.
It was a nice play, and the reason it was a nice play was because the ball was tailing away from Mookie Wilson and toward George Foster. Yeah, that ball's really tailing away. It would have been an easier play. However, George was playing Brock straight away in left field and had more of a longer run than Mookie Wilson. Plus, George doesn't have the speed that Mookie has.
So 2 out here in the 9th. And Mike Scioscia, who homered in the 7th inning for the only Dodger run, will be the last Dodger hope to keep things alive. Fastball right down there, strike 1. Scioscia has also reached on a fielder's choice and flied to center. And it's strike 2. Now the crowd comes to its feet en masse. Scioscia, the only Dodger batter other than Valenzuela who has not struck out tonight. And he pops it into short right field. Strawberry over. And the Mets win 5-1. Dwight Gooden picks up win number 13 on the year. And in doing so, he strikes out 12 batters to make the 11th time this year he has struck out 10 or more in a single ball game. His record now 13-8. As he bests Fernando Valenzuela, who is now 10-15 as the losing pitcher, and Valenzuela picking up 7 strikeouts on the night. So Dwight lengthens his lead with now 214 strikeouts on the year to lead the National League in that department. The Mets have now won 2 in a row, and with the Cubs not playing, are now 5 games behind Chicago in 2nd place. Dwight Gooden does it again and delights this big crowd here at Shea tonight. Tim and I will be back to wrap it up in just a minute, and Kiner's Corner will follow. The Mets win it over the Dodgers in the first of a 3-game series, 5-1. Now, here's a word from Budweiser.
Kiner's Corner is brought to you by Garcia Vega. Its natural leaf wrapper gives you rich tobacco taste. Garcia Vega, still an honest cigar. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, and the Mets won out here today behind Dwight Gooden, winning by a score of 5-1. Dwight getting his 13th victory, and he picked up 12 strikeouts on his way to a possible league-leading strikeout total at the end of the season. We're going to have as our guest in the show Kelvin Chapman. He was on yesterday after a Grand Slam home run. We'll talk about his ball game here today in just a moment, right after this message from Garcia Vega. Well, our guest in the show right here, Kelvin Chapman, and we're going to have Dwight Gooden on, but he's icing his arm down after a brilliant pitching performance. Fielders don't ice down after a ball game.
I used to. When I had the surgery on my shoulder, I used to have to ice down all the time, but he threw the heck out of the ball tonight, so I think he deserves a nice job tonight. You know,
we don't have you on here for your hitting tonight. We have you on for your defense. You didn't handle a chance in the whole ball game. How lucky can you get?
I like it that way. You know, you're amazed at Dwight because you know he's so awesome. You know, it's a chance of a lifetime to see him pitch, and you know, people get their money's worth when they come out to see him pitch, and it's just fun to play behind him because he's just an awesome, you know, awesome pitcher right now, and it's just great fun to play behind him.
You know, the thing that's really amazing about him, and he, of course, is 19 years of age, but he's in command of his pitches. He only walked one batter in the ball game, struck out 12. He's around the plate all the time. He has to be easy to play behind.
He is. You know, most strikeout pitchers go 3-2, you know, 3-1 all the time. But he throws strikes and he mixes up his pitches. And I tell you, he threw some curveballs tonight that were just unbelievable. And it was just a joy to watch tonight. And you know, he's got the Dodgers number. But I just hope we continue this winning streak.
Well, the Mets won the ball game. The first 9 batters for the Mets were retired, not in order because there were 2 walks, but one was thrown out attempting to steal, and the other was out on the double play. But in the 4th inning, the Mets sent 9 men to the plate, so they caught up with Fernando Valenzuela, who also pitched a fine game, but he was wild in the game. With 2 men out in the 4th inning, the walk to Keith Hernandez got it started. It was a 3-2 pitch, a pitch just on or off the outside corner. It was that close. It was called ball 4, and then George Foster singled up the middle, and then Darryl Strawberry walked. That brought up Hubie Brooks. He got an infield base hit, a lucky base hit for the Mets, but they got the first run of the ball game off that. And then Kelvin Chapman came up, and this is how Kelvin put the Mets on top by a score of 3-0. You really ripped it, didn't you?
I hit it like he threw it. He threw a screwball, and I think it was 3-2. I can't remember the count, but I was expecting a fastball, but I was out front, and he's got a good screwball, but I'm lucky I got enough of it. Get it over the infield's head.
Of course, that was a big base hit in the ball game. It gave the Mets a 3-0 lead and gave Dwight something to work on, and of course you continued to hit the ball well in the ball game, and coming off of yesterday, it's got to be a happy day for you again.
Yeah, it's fun for me because I get to play every day, and right when he threw that fastball that I hit off the wall, Scioscia yelled about halfway, "Oh no!" So it was supposed to be an outside fastball, but he got it in on me, and luckily I should have hit it a little better, but I'm glad I hit it off the wall.
We're going to come back and talk about that double off the wall because it was a very, to say the least, interesting play by Hubie Brooks, who was on first base. We'll return after this message from Mitsubishi. Well, our guest in the show, we have Kelvin Chapman. Kelvin driving in 2 runs in the ball game. He now has 6 RBIs in his last 2 ball games, and playing for the Mets at second base. In the 6th inning, Hubie Brooks led off with a single, and then Kelvin came up and hit a ball to deep left field. I thought it was going to be a home run.
It was a pitch low and in, and it was about the same pitch I had yesterday, but I got under it a little bit, but lucky I carried enough to hit off the wall, but I'm glad I didn't because I would have probably passed Hubie at first base because he was coming back to tag, but that's baseball. We make mistakes, and hopefully we'll correct them, and we'll go on to have a good season.
As it turned out, Hubie was thrown out at third base on the double by Kelvin Chapman. Kevin, at one time in baseball, you could not get a double on that ball. You have to advance the runner in front of you 2 bases for you to get a double, but they changed the rules, so you do get a 2-base hit.
I'm glad they changed the rules. I like it.
Well, that could have been a tough part in the ball game, but some brilliant base running by Kelvin. He stole third base, surprised everybody with Fitzgerald striking out, and then continued on home for another run for the Mets as he came in to score on a throwing error by Scioscia. So there was a run stolen after the bad base running play by Hubie Brooks. The only blemish on the record of the pitcher, Dwight Gooden, was this pitch to Scioscia. And Scioscia gets a fastball right here. Gooden getting the ball down just a bit. And he takes it over the right center field fence for his 4th home run of the year. For some reason, Scioscia really hits the Met pitchers well in this home run here, giving the Dodgers their only run of the ball game. So that's the way it was out here at Shea Stadium. Dwight, thank you very much for coming on. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have me on more often.
Kelvin Chapman. Hope to see him here in a couple more days. So we'll return right after this message from Mitsubishi. Well, the Mets won it out here tonight by a score of 5-1. They have picked up a half game on the Cubs, who did not play today. Mets staying at the same position with the Philadelphia Phillies, who won their ball game 9-1 over San Diego. So the Mets now 5 games back of the Cubs as they play the Dodgers again tomorrow night. Gooden, the winning pitcher, his record now 13-8. He had 12 strikeouts in the ball game. He now has 224 strikeouts. And only, these people have had more in their rookie season. Herb Score with 245. Alexander with 227. Tom Hughes, long Tom Hughes, with 225. And Mathewson with 221. And John Montefusco with 215. Dwight Gooden with a total now of 214. So Dwight on his way to a possible all-time record for strikeouts by a rookie pitcher. And if he does lead the league in strikeouts, he will be the first teenage rookie pitcher to ever lead the league in strikeouts. So that's the story out here at Shea Stadium. Once again, the final score, the New York Mets 5 and the Los Angeles Dodgers 1. Join us here tomorrow night as the Mets take on the Dodgers at 7:30 p.m. right here on WOR-TV. Kindness Corner has been brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors. Mitsubishi takes you where you've never been before. And by Garcia Vega. Its natural leaf wrapper gives you rich tobacco taste. Garcia Vega, still an honest cigar.
Box of Garcia Vega cigars. And from Casio's collection of high-tech, high-fashion watches featuring the W500 Water Sport watch with net, standard lap time and stopwatch features for the marathon runner. Casio, every time a winner at fine department stores. Ralph Kiner's Wardrobe by Stanley Blacker.